Hari and I have my colleague Alana who will be presenting with me. This topic is dear to me and also to at least 12,000 other physicians who are stuck in immigration backlog. And so I'm going to give a brief introduction about what is immigration issue with the physicians, and I'll give you the graphics. So physician shortage in America is a serious issue, and at this time the specialties mostly affected are internal medicine, pediatrics, and family medicine. And as you know, all three of them constitute the hospital medicine, so that's why this is one of the platforms we want to kind of raise this. So by 2025, it is estimated that there is at least 45,000 physician shortage in the country. And it's disproportionately affected mostly in the suburban areas, rural and underserved areas compared to urban areas. So why there is a physician shortage? There are a couple of reasons. There are a lot of physicians who are retiring and the aging group of American population. That's also contributing for the physician shortage on the top of the immigration issues. So I'm going to talk briefly about the international medical graduates, how they kind of graduate, what is the visa issue and other stuff. The international medical graduates make up 25% of the US physician workforce. That's a big chunk of physician population. They take care of at least 3.2 million patients per day. That accounts to almost 1.2 billion patients per year. So it's roughly estimated that each physician contributes 2.2 million in economic output and also averages about like 14 jobs. Each physician supports like 14 jobs and also averages 1.1 million in wages and benefits. It's just a brief pathway. Most of the international medical graduates did their medical school outside the United States, and they enter into the US with a residency pathway. So the residency, there are three different ways, actually four, but one is J1 visa, H1B, and there's an EAD, H4. There's also one more called O1 visa. So on J1 visa, you finish your residency, it's either 3 to 5 years or maybe more if you do a fellowship. You're eligible for a permanent residency after 3 years of completing your waiver job. That means you're working in an underserved area after completing your residency. If you are on an H1B visa, you're eligible for permanent residency right after your residency. So most of the countries, it takes 3 to 6 months or maybe up to a year to get their green card or permanent residency. But countries like India and China, at the present rate on the backlog, it takes more than 150 years for them to actually get a permanent residency in the country. Okay, that might be never too. So, the other one is H4 EAD. You probably might have heard it on the news to cancel it, and it's a different thing. I don't want to go into the immigration thing. Okay. So there are two other ways. I'm going to just give a brief account about what is J1 waiver and physician national interest waiver. So both of them are physician agrees to work in an underserved area. The first one, J1 waiver, you are agreeing to work in an underserved area for 3 years at least, and there are at least 30 clinical spots available in each state. And the physician national interest waiver is you agree to work for at least 5 years in an underserved area, and that kind of gives you a pathway to permanent residency, but there are no added advantages because you worked in an underserved area. Okay. The other one is the H1B permit, it's a work permit. So this is a small graph about the total number of students, graduates that are coming out. The US and Canadian medical graduates, they account to almost 725,000 roughly. And the international medical graduates roughly around 240,000. So that's like almost 1/4 of the graduates. And among the 1/4 medical graduates, you can see the demographics there. India, there's 50,000, Caribbean schools, 35,000, Philippines is 13,000, and other IMGs is like 100,000. So what is immigration backlog? So usually each country is represented, each country has a 7% quota for getting permanent residency. It includes everyone. That means all kinds of professions and everything. So on average, each physician spends close to 10 years to just enter into the pathway. And they are competing with other 200,000 professionals, non-physicians, and 230,000 dependents on the other professionals. So it's a long pathway that leads to approximately 150-year backlog at this time. I'm going to hand over to my colleague to continue the research.
Thank you, Ramesh. So going into the study as such, the objective of our study was to know how these physicians are distributed across the country and what their perceptions are, and if this backlog continues for 150 years like this, what could be the potential impact. So we created a survey. We used SurveyMonkey to create this, and we included all the physicians and dentists who are practicing in the US or who are eligible to practice in the US. And we circulated this survey using social media platforms, Facebook, WhatsApp, emails, etc. So we have been doing this study for almost 10 months now. Approximately, from the previous slide, we have about 12,000 physicians who are in this backlog. We could reach out to about 3,000 of them, and 35% of them responded, about 1,230 physicians, which is a good response rate for a survey study. Demographics. So most of the physicians in our sample were attending physicians who finished their training and were practicing. That's about 80% of them, and there were definitely some fellows and residents. Regional distribution, almost spread across the country, majority in the Midwest and southern states. Visa status. So 95% of them are on H-1B because they're already attending physicians, and some of them on other visas. In these H-1B, the 3-year track, J1 waiver, that is about 35.5% of the physicians, and the 5-year track, national interest waiver, that is about 25%. Practicing specialty, an important slide. So majority of our physicians who are in this backlog are in internal medicine, about 42%. About 25% went on to do a fellowship, and the others, like family medicine, pediatrics, psychiatry, which are the other primary care specialties, are about 5 to 6%. Area of practice. 69% of these physicians are in rural or underserved areas, and a minority 30% in the urban areas. So we asked these physicians about their stay in the US. So we asked them how long have you been living in the US, and roughly it has been 8.5 years on average. So we asked their perception, how long do you think you can wait before becoming a permanent resident of the country? They said 3.5 years on average. So they've been waiting patiently for 5 years already. And there is a permanent residency petition when they apply for permanent residency. So on average, it has been approved back in 2014, and they have been patiently waiting since 2014 to become a permanent resident. Visa status of their children. So 65% are US citizens born in the US, but the problem lies with that 12% who are the dependents. The reason is when the kids who are not born in the US, they grow and become 21-year-old, they age out, or they cannot be the dependents of their parents anymore. They either got to go to college or find a school that sponsors a student visa, or they have to find a job when they're 21. Otherwise, they have to leave the country. They cannot be the dependents. We asked the physicians about their perceptions. Do you feel that you're not able to advance in your career because of your visa status? 95% said yes. And do you think you can serve your community better as a permanent resident? Almost 99% said yes. Would you agree that the immigration policies are contributing to the shortage in the US? 95% agree to that. And perhaps the most important question in the survey, did you ever consider leaving the US because of this green card backlog? 80% are actively considering that. We asked them, where would you go back? Majority were home country like India, and some of them showed interest in Canada, Australia, Middle East. And we asked them why these countries, and the reason is the others, they have a 3-year path to get a permanent residency. There is nothing like a backlog where you sit and wait. The conclusion of our study is, if this backlog, 150 years or how many years, continues like this, the areas and specialties that are already affected by the physician shortage, they are going to get even more affected. Internal medicine and primary care in our rural and underserved communities. So, if the backlog continues like this, what's going to be the setback in a personal level or at a professional level? We are only authorized to work in a specified facility where we are authorized to work. Like the hospitals, week on week off basis, and in the week off there is a facility nearby where you can go and moonlight. Not supposed to do so because you need a work authorization to help that hospital who's desperately looking for moonlight. You cannot put in extra hours, and there is always a limited practice opportunity and limited research that you can do, and restricted travel. This H1B has to be renewed every 3 years. So for 100 to 150 years, every time it gets renewed, you have to get an appointment, do the paperwork all over again, and that's always a challenge during travel. As we said, children are going to age out at 21, and it's on a temporary visa status. It's always difficult to get a loan, mortgage, and eventually settle down in the community. But more important is what would be the impact of this on American healthcare. As we discussed before, and as per our study, the physicians are mostly serving the rural communities and underserved communities. If you look at this slide, if the poverty rate of the community is more than 30%, 31% of our physicians are international graduates. And if the per capita income is less than $50,000, 42% of their physicians are international medical graduates. So these are the communities that cannot afford to lose their physician because it's so difficult to hire and recruit more physicians coming to a rural or underserved area. Physician fatigue and depression, we're talking more and more about this. So if these are the factors contributing to a stressor at a personal level, at a professional level, with their family, it will definitely contribute to more fatigue and depression. So what could be the potential solutions for this problem? Like in the slide before, when those 10,000 physicians are combined with 450,000 others, probably that should change. There should be a separate pathway for immigration for all physicians. Physicians already put in about 10 to 12 years in their education, and again serve with 3 years of service or 5 years of service in underserved area, and they cannot be combined with the rest of lottery-based system or family-based system. In other words, they should be excluded from all the numerical limitations. How can we do this? First thing, physicians, we got to be our own advocates. We have to start forming coalitions. We have to lobby with our organizations, create more awareness in the news media, and start advocacy rather than expecting somebody else to come and help us out. So this is not a neglected problem completely as such. We have seen more and more organizations coming forward. This is an open letter from American Medical Association back in August 2018. They wrote a letter to the USCIS saying that the backlog should stop. ACP, American College of Physicians, has published this article in Jan 2019 about all the issues that international medical graduates face. News media, yes, lot of published articles lately, and this is one from CNN where they exactly specified the rural America and the migrant doctors and the wage for green cards. When it comes to politicians, I don't think any politician will say that a physician should not come to the US and should not serve a rural or underserved area. Legal immigration, it cannot get better than physician immigration. Finally, this was the cartoons that were circulating in the social media. Indian physician takes at least 70 years to grow up, get a beard, or die before getting the green card as compared to the other countries. The references we used for the study, and thank you. We are open to questions.